Hello there. I'm here today with my John Deere E160 mowing deck. I have it flipped upright for a reason, is to show you how clean your deck can be. It's fairly simple to do. Essentially, when I get done mowing my yard, each time I mow, I always pull my deck off, and it's less than 5 minutes to remove it. It's a total of 5 cotter pins, and most decks today are designed for that intention of easy removal. So essentially, I will get all the heavy debris off the top side where the belt runs and the pulleys are, flip the deck over, and I will pour, I will get the deck a little wet initially, and I use a pressure washer, and I will get the deck and get the heavy stuff off, and then I will lay the deck down on the ground, and I will put bleach on the actual deck. Everywhere there's grass stuck to the deck, the blades just on it, and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Go back with your pressure washer, and all that grass, any buildup that's on the deck, will come right off. Obviously, yes, the pressure washer makes that simpler, but the bleach will literally help break down that grassy stain buildup stuff that typically gets all over the bottom of the deck. And being I store my mower inside a garage, I certainly don't want dead stinky grass odor smell in my garage. So I'm going to drop the deck down to point out some maintenance things that you should do, in my opinion, that will help the longevity of the pulleys on the deck. Now granted, yes, most pulleys, the shaft pulleys, are greasable, and that's great, and they're typically the pulleys that are the standalones have sealed bearings. However, because they're exposed to all the elements outside when you're mowing, and whether the grass is dry or damp, etc., they still get grungy stuff on them. So I'm going to drop the deck down here, and I will go to my next step. Bear with me a moment. Okay, let me pan down here. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see this a little better. I've taken the liberty of actually loosening one of the pulleys up. This is standalone, so I can show you what I do specifically. What I do, most of these have locking nuts. Just remove it. I will pull the pulley off. I'll generally take the pulley, clean it really good on the front and back side. They both essentially look the same, really. And clean off the area where it actually bolts up to where it's mounted. Then I will take, typically like this here, this is just standard wheel bearing grease. I will apply that grease all around where this pulley rotates around that. And I don't necessarily put grease on the top of the bearing or the bottom, just around this post. And ultimately, just going to stick that there temporarily. On the greasable shafts, obviously your grease gun will take care of those, no problem. I'm going to hopefully pan over here just a bit. Let me take a look, make sure I got this right. This is another standalone, same process. Just pull the pulley off, make sure it's clean on the bottom side. Use the wheel bearing grease on the point where it mounts up to the bolt, and I have 3 total that are standalone pulleys, and they're non-greasable and seal bearings, but they generally do last a long time. But the primary reason, at least when I purchased my John Deere, it was specifically in the book they did not recommend using a pressure washer on the mower. To a degree, I would understand why they would say that, but I'm very particular as far as the maintenance on my unit, and I understand that if you pressure wash a unit and don't dry it off and don't do things of this nature over time, that obviously the exposure to all that additional water would potentially cause a bearing to seize up. That's why I recommend putting some of this wheel bearing grease around the bolt up points and making sure that each time I actually remove my deck and wash it, I actually use my blower and actually blow all the pulleys off, and that applies to my tractor as well, because it has two standalone pulleys that the drive belt runs off of, and I will make a point to use my blower to dry those pulleys off. And I would recommend, if you do that type of service to your pulleys on your deck, it's a good idea to go up underneath the deck of your ride mower, and if it has standalone pulleys that can be removed, I would suggest removing those, clean them off with soap and water, dry them, and do the same thing. Just use the wheel bearing grease on the the bolt head or the threaded area where it bolts up to, and put just a light coating of wheel bearing grease around it, and that will actually help extend or at least preserve the life of the bearing in the pulley, so that potentially you don't run the risk of it burning up, because obviously when they seize up, they will ultimately do a lot of damage either to your belt or other pulleys that are in conjunction with it. So this should apply to pretty much any riding tractor that's made today, and hopefully you find this beneficial. And there's my little dog Abby. And other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching and have a good day.